Hey there guys, how is it going? Today we're going to be doing the mission in Utter Darkness. So this is one of those holdout missions. This mission is kind of cool in the sense that the mission doesn't end until all your units die, but at the same time that's kind of annoying. But this is one of the, I think in my opinion, one of the very fun missions. So yeah, after we finish loading, we'll get started. Usually it loads faster, but as you can see, this is kind of a big map. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and skip the intro and going to start producing probes as fast as possible because we do need that economy. I'm also going to select one probe to go to a high yield expansion, and I am sorry that I am lagging. I thought my computer could take this, but apparently with Fraps you can't really do it. So that should give you an idea of how many units are going to be on this map. Okay, so I'm also going to build 2 more forges for upgrades because they are going to be very important for keeping your units alive. So I'm going to go ahead and build that Nexus and just return the probe to the main base for mining. And I am also going to want to start my robotics bay because I do need Colossi. So the Zerg do swarm a lot, so Colossi is going to be your best bet for your anti-ground weapons or units. High Templars are also very good, but at my skill level, I can't really use them that effectively. So I'm going to go ahead and just use Colossi for my AoE damage. So the first attack is going to come from the north, and going to position my units so that they are ready to defend. Now all the attacks are, how do you say it, like predetermined, so it's not random. So I will be posting most of the timings down, so I will post the timings down for as long as I survive, but I won't have the timings for anything after that. But all you really need is the timings for until I survive, which is pretty much going to be like an hour. So there are 3 achievements again. Your normal complete all mission objectives, that's going to be a bit easy. And also once your expansion finishes, you want to send all your probes to gather the high yield because that base is a pain to defend. So you want to mine that out fast. Okay, so back to the achievements. You can see one of the missions is that you have to kill 2,500 units. And that's a lot of units. So the achievement is you have to kill 1,000 more. So you have to kill a total of 3,500. So yeah, that's a lot. So you're probably gonna have to save a lot for this mission. I did save a lot too, but yeah. So just save a lot and you should be fine. And eventually you also want to add on gateways, but right now I'm not going to do that. So the next attack is going to be on the left side at somewhere between the 3 and 4 minute mark. I don't have the exact timings right now, but I will post them down like I said. So you do have some observers on the side so you can see where the Zerg swarm is coming from. But eventually they do die because they do get vision. So they see the observers and they just kill them. So as you can see, I did combine my High Templars into an Archon afterwards because I don't like High Templars too much. So we're gonna want to add on more gateways now that we have more money. And the next attack is going to be coming from the right side. So we're going to defend against that. And I'm moving my observers back just in case. I don't want them to die just yet. But if you know the timing of the attacks, then you really don't need them. So we're going to use Zeratul ability to stop the others from attacking. And the cool thing about this is you get 4 hero units to use. So you get a lot of high damaging units as well as kind of like they're also more beefy, as in they have more health and armor and stuff like that. So I'm going to turn those gateways into warp gates. And also gonna start getting gas because in the early game, gas is gonna be one of the key resources that you're gonna be running out of because of all the researches.
I am here in the shadow.
So they are gonna attack from the top. Just gonna get ready for them.
Behold, my greatest creation.
And they do have hybrids now. So what you're going to want to do is actually use the phoenixes to use the graviton beam and just lift all of them up so that they don't really do any damage and they're kind of just sitting there and getting attacked. And unfortunately the Colossi can't hit the airborne hybrids, but this should be okay if you have a good amount of stalkers. So our unit composition for this map is going to be mostly Colossi and Stalkers, and maybe throw in a few Zealots just in case. So there is going to be an attack on the left side. So I don't have any defenses on my expansion, so I'm going to just have my unit army there, so I don't have to build any more cannons because cannons are kind of a waste of money over there. And then there's also going to be an attack on the right side coming soon. And I'm going to build Zealots because they do have a lot of Zerglings, and Zealots are good against Zerglings if no one gets surrounded. Also be careful with your hero. As you can see, my 0-2 almost died. I'm going to kind of put him out on the sidelines for a little bit because I don't want him to die yet. And just defending the attack from the left side and the right side. And once the left side stops attacking, the top side will also start to come eventually.
I am the voice of the eclipse.
So if we can keep the Zerg units at the base, but the bridge, then it will be okay for you. It shouldn't be too hard to defend. I'm gonna build more Zealots. Keep up the upgrades because they're essential for keeping your units alive. You want to make the most out of your units, and upgrades will help a lot with respect to that. So they do keep sending stuff, and there are going to be broodlord attacks. So I do have to use my phoenixes, which are totally out of position, but that's okay. And I did push a bit far. So I'm gonna get attacked by those spine crawlers. There's also an Omega list over there. So I should have killed it just for fun, but I was trying to do the achievement, so I'm not gonna really mess with that. So I'm gonna lift up the cluster because they're annoying. And we do get Void Rays, which are very good against hybrids since they do have a lot of health and armor. So the Void Rays do that charge damage.
Well met, great Mohandar. For ire.
State thy bidding.
Awesome.
So there's going to be another attack on the left.
In the shadows.
And just going to position my forces on the bridge to kind of bait them away from my base so I don't have to defend. I'm also working on air upgrades, which aren't that important yet, so I don't really need to build two cybernetics cores.
Mineral field depleted.
And once the mineral field depletes, I am going to send my probes back to the main base to mine.
The voice of the eclipse.
And here we go. Left side, I'm bring in my Phoenix with the Nydus and possibly graviton beam the hybrids. And then we're gonna go defend the right side, I think. Or defend the top.
Very wide. Very wide.
So the next attack is going to be coming from the top.
I serve.
For our suffering must end.
And my observer almost died.
Complete.
That's okay. So we're gonna send in my phoenixes, do that graviton beam again. Just to stop the hybrids from attacking because they do a lot of damage. And I'm gonna build zealots because, well, I'm kind of out of gas. So, and we can see that they're preparing an attack on the right side as well. So eventually you're gonna have to split your forces, as you can see. They are gonna attack from the right and the top side at the same time. So you want to split up your army so that you can defend both places at once. And I did lose my hero, but
There's just too many.
that's okay. I'll make the best of what I got.
Warpfield online.
We are one with the shadow.
Okay, now you get a little break. You can macro up a little bit more. Try and max your army, build more colossi.
I am the voice of the. I am here in the shadows.
And I did finish my 3/3 upgrades. Once the high yield finishes, you can pretty much just leave that base to die because it's going to be pretty useless. Since gas late game is not as useful, since you will have all the upgrades and all the stuff. So at 15 minutes, a little bit before 15 minutes, there are going to be some Nyduses popping out, so I'm splitting my forces to kind of cover the area around the library.
This vessel.
I am the voice of the eclipse.
Or archive. Well, same thing, right? So once the Nyduses pop up, I will be able to defend it. And there won't be anything popping out. So if you do let the Nyduses live, you'll see some broodlings, and they're not too difficult to deal with, but they do get annoying, and unfortunately they don't count towards the kill count. So if you leave them alive trying to get the achievement, it won't work. And now we get carriers. So when you get the carriers, make sure you have the interceptors building automatically, because they will die, and you don't want to have to manually build them as you're playing, because you will forget, or at least I do, and it's just one less thing to worry about. So the next attack is going to be coming from the left, and I'm going to move there now.
Time for battle. Upgrade complete.
So I do have a max death ball, but I think most of it's in probes. And steady weapon. So coming with those phoenixes and the graviton beam, very useful. And again, try not to overextend, because you got those spore crawlers and those spine crawlers. And now we're going to want to go to the top, which is where they're attacking next. So after a certain amount, when the archives finishes, you can just push back and just sit on the top of your ramp to kind of have that defender's advantage, since they can't see above the ramp. So it does help your units survive a bit, because they do have to walk around, and it does take a while.